All right, everyone, we got a good one for you here. New Nation is taking on ASR, who's currently in first place. I will be bringing Sentinel, Mr. Negative, and Doom. I actually just ranked Sentinel from rank 1 to rank 3 for this war because I will be taking Path 6 in Section 1, Path 7 in Section 2, a middle mini-boss, and I am on boss duty against a Weapon X. So this first fight, I tested the interaction with Mr. Negative's Petrify with his SB2 to make sure that we wouldn't give Doom a full bar and to what extent he'd gain power from Strike Back. So it's only 20% of a bar of power. Now, in a perfect situation, I would have preferred a Mr. Fantastic Petrify for this fight because then I don't have to worry about the aura and therefore I can bait out SP1s so that I can still reliably drop SP2 when it's ready. So what you're going to see in this fight is a normal Mr. Negative fight where I build light energy with parry heavy. I convert the light energy, testing if there's any unfazed, and so far there isn't. Then I'm going to rebuild some more light energy. Now that we're at 6, he's going to throw this SP1. Now he's got the aura up, so now we're going to be mindful of that. Not heavy anymore. We're just going to parry and attack. We're going to convert this light energy while he's at a bar, so that he doesn't throw the aura so that we can drop this SP2. Now that's going to push him to SP2, but we're going to end up blocking all of it. And as you can see, he's just melting from the degen damage. So we took quite a bit of block damage. I can dodge the SP2. It's just not worth it. I also had an invulnerability boost on. I could have taken the hit. So that's the only thing that would probably make that fight a lot better for Mr. Negative is if the Mr. Fantastic Petrify was there to prevent the aura. Next is this Annihilus on Power Alternator. I'm going to start with a PS1 so that I can throw it immediately to remove his rod so that we can reliably parry or block without him gaining unstoppable charges. So what you're going to see mostly from this Doom fight is me throwing a lot of SB1s, throwing SB2 when I get it, paying attention to this Power Alternator node, and just keeping our power low before it resets, so that he doesn't gain a burst of power. And you see there, I just threw it into his block. I was hoping he'd come in and he didn't. I didn't want all that power to go to Annihilus. So luckily the rod is still off, so we can parry reliably. We're getting those shocks. We're throwing those heavies so that a stagger is there in preparation for the rod to come back. Missed a block there. Throw this SP2. It's unblockable, so he's not going to block it this time. And he just goes down nice and easy, and with a backhand for emphasis. So pretty easy fight, just a miss block, one bad SP2. Moving on to this Nova that also has Power Alternator, but it has Heavy Hitter. So with his non-contact medium and the fact that if you parry it or even block it, sometimes he'll immediately throw a heavy. It's going to make it hard for openings, especially if he already has a Fury buff and enough Nova charges. You can't intercept him, otherwise you'll end up getting auto block parried. So you'll see here I still had that APB, so I went ahead and threw it to get rid of the Fury so that maybe we can land some intercepts. He's not really playing with me here and allowing me to reparry him. I throw an SP1 to remove the Fury that shows back up. I don't actually throw my heavy a lot here. I think it was mostly because of that point. I thought the shock was still there and it had expired. But what you're going to see is me throwing a lot of SP1. The SP1 would be doing more damage if we weren't fighting Nova, since he has a damage reduction for unblockable attacks. So it might just be unblockable specials, but it's 70 to 75%. So throwing an SP2 here while we have the aura up isn't going to be that helpful. Sure, we get some dot damage, but the goal here is to really just avoid special attacks, dodge them for openings, hopefully reparry so that we can get another opening, being aware when he mediums into our block. And here's an SP2 that I dodge all of for an opening. And I'm just going to, a lot of times, just throw the SP1 into his block just to remove buffs. I am not ready a couple times for how quickly he recovers after a special attack, but it's not a big deal. Doom is a tank, so it's just really hard to take a lot of damage here unless I just get hit the entire fight. But it is a slow fight. It ends up being a slow fight without being able to reliably reach SB2 or SB3 consistently. And I do have max MD, so even the power gain from nullifying the buffs isn't enough to push me into that area of SB2. So, but overall, still pretty safe fight. I think this is the only SB2 I throw. You can see here he's unblockable now. Dodge that SB1, now we're gonna retaliate. Throwing up the stagger when we can. He's now in the last 25%, just going down. And as I said, Doom is a tank, so a couple hits here and there is not too big of a deal. Especially since I can't seem to figure out spacing near the end of this fight, but... and down he goes. So another backhand to end it. Okay, and then moving on to this Power Snack Mini. Pretty much calls for Mr. Negative if we have him available. Just because he makes it so easy, and you guys have seen me take this fight plenty of times. So we've had that evade counter when he heavies, so I'm at least aware of that if he goes unstoppable and it doesn't knock him back a little bit so that I can combo him. But usual game plan here. Parry heavy, build light, convert light to dark. Bait out his SB1 as we build to our SB2 while building more light to convert more dark so that we have 10 plus dark energy, and then drop the big SB2 with 10 or more dark energy. And I think we have 14 or 15 for this fight. Constantly feeling out if we have unfazed. I did not use a gray boost for this fight. I didn't think it was, I've got this figured out, so I'm not really worried about it at all. Even if it goes south, it has to go super south for me to die. So here we are at 12 energy, or 12 dark energy, building a couple more, and I'm gonna use an evade counter here, combo to SB2 and throw it, so it's 15 dark energy, which comes out to 16 degen debuffs and 2 petrifies. We can parry heavy him. He's just gonna lose power from the 2 petrifies. And the degen's not gonna kill him, but this SB1, when he activates a regen buff, is. And then that dex there killed him, so the nullify immunity added to it. So nice and easy, section 1. All right, moving on to section 2. Pat 7, you guys have seen me take this Modoc with Mr. Negative. It's just nice being able to end spite power gain when you want to by just converting a buff to light energy and removing it. So what you'll see, lots of parry attack, trigger the shield, go back to try and parry or block, combo with the shield down, not a full combo, stopping short so that we don't have our 5th hit land on the shield and end up taking punches to the face. You're gonna see me convert light energy to dark, keep 9, less than 10 dark energy, and then whatever light energy I have when we reach SP3, activate SP3 after Modok has used an SP1 and is at 0-ish power. So very funky fight, very on your toes fight, very think every combo out fight, but still pretty safe fight. I actually used an invulnerability boost for this fight in hopes that it would cover this fight and the next fight, which it does. So here's that SP3. He used SP1, so we don't have to worry about him gaining SP1 at the end of the fight, or at the end of the animation. So we're gonna do direct damage, dark damage to him, and we're gonna do healing to ourselves. And then we're gonna avoid blocked hits while he has Rise to Power active. So now we go back to the same process, building to SP3. And I think I get short of SP3 and I just end the fight with combos instead of throwing SP3. Or it might even be the dot damage that actually ends him. Because I'm constantly running Resonate with playing Mr. Negative, so that my dark energy does dot damage for a debuff when a debuff is active on the opponent. Yeah, that looks like we're not going to reach SP3, or we're going to reach it and we're going to hold it because we're not going to have any light energy, and he's pretty much dead. Just just don't feel like going through the animation. It would eat up the gray boost timer, so. And down he goes. So, smooth fight, good counter, awkward counter, still a good counter. Moving on to Jabari Panther here on aspect of evolution kinetic transference. I'm taking this with Doom, which is a pretty safe fight as long as you're aware of when she's in the hunt and you don't try and dex her SP1 because it's really the only attack you can't outrange, and she'll nail you with her spear. Plus her crit is way high in the hunt and she causes bleed with every crit hit. So you see there, I actually don't know what, I forgot. I think there wasn't a shot there. Yeah. So one mistake, ate up the invulnerability boost, which was kind of saving me from an SP3 if it happened. She's being very liberal with her SP1, and I'm already spaced out to avoid most of the hits so that I only eat the spear. There's going to be one right here. No, there's one that just falls short. It just ends up being a light attack. That actually might have been, there it is. And I don't know what happened there. I was trying to do a medium and the AI or the game just didn't respond to it. But you'll see me throw SP1 quite a bit. It's so that I can get the aura, stick to light attacks, and power drainer. But it ended up being a pretty smooth fight. I was kind of curious as to how it was going to go. I thought it was going to be pretty tricky. And after one duel, it did not seem that way. So, pretty safe. Plus you can counter her medium with a dash back intercept, the same way you do Domino. She recovers she takes a while to recover from it, so pretty straightforward fight. Moving on to this Mojo, using Mr. Negative. You guys have seen me take this fight before. I'm not gonna use it. Oh no, I do use a gray boost. I think I use a regen, combat regen, just because we have so many, and I have those in APBs left in overflow. Yeah, so game plan here is to parry and hit, not parry heavy, in case that Fury buff gets eaten by anti-life and I end up taking a degen, which even though Mr. Negative heals from it, I want to avoid it. Plus ending a buff that way kind of helps him regen, which doesn't matter when we have 2 petrifies up, but it's somewhat annoying to see here and there. Baiting out these SB1s, hoping that sometimes they trigger dex so that I can convert the buff to light energy. So we're at 7 dark energy. Building up some more light with parry attacks and with the dexterity buff. Still baiting out SB1. You see we're getting to the wall here, and I decide off the wall. We're good. Stopped short of him having SB1 and had SB2 ready to go with the right amount of dark energy. So now it's just back to the regular game plan while he melts from degen. And down he goes. Nice and easy. Alright, so now for the fun one. I did rank Sentinel from rank 1 to rank 3 for this boss, as we don't have a rank 3 Sentinel for attack. I've seen this fight many times. The goal here is to hit into his block a lot pretty early so that you can build analysis charges and hopefully get them to 100, at least during his first berserk phase. Once we're there, we're just going to be going nuts with attacking into him and spamming SP2s. The incinerate damage will out damage the healing. So you're going to see 4 hit combos into block, backing off, getting him to turtle, rinse and repeat. If he creates any openings, I hit him a couple times, not too much. I don't want him to go berserk too soon. And right about this next set of blocks, I get the charges I need. So we're good. Now you're gonna see me try and get him to go berserk. So I need to hit him once here, intercept, there we go. Wait out the unstoppable. You're gonna see me block to dash. It's so that I can bait out a heavy like that. The AI tends to throw more heavy attacks into you when they're aggressive, and you're holding block before you dodge. So those are my openings on top of getting him to fire SB1. I do have suicides on, so you're gonna see recoil damage. But we're not going to use near enough SP2s to even get us close to 70% health, maybe even 60% health. Being mindful when he's unblockable. When he's not and the berserk ends, we're a little more aggressive, pushing him back to his wall. Waiting for those berserk charges to show back up so that we are prepared for him to go berserk again. Just because we don't want to push him into berserk in the middle of a special and therefore have his unstoppable proc and him just rip through you after your special ends. So here he is, unblockable again, unstoppable, waiting it out. Once it ended, I went ahead and intercepted him with the SP2. Trying to bait out another heavy here. There it is. Now we're going to combo off the wall. His berserk ended though, so he's going to be a tad bit passive. We're going to go ahead and hit into his block a couple times to back him up. Throw in this SP2 because it's safe. He's not ready to go berserk. Doing a great job avoiding hits. First time ever technically playing Sentinel outside of the here and there arena. So I did use an invulnerability boost in case I did take some hits. Here's his third berserk, waiting out the unstoppable. I did not feel comfortable with that timing with the heavy, so I did not retaliate. But this one's fine, no unstoppable. And just unloading. He's dying from the incinerate damage, baiting out specials. There's another heavy, so another opening. He is no longer berserk. And this should put him close. It's going to be the combo of this and the next combo that takes him out. So we got the solo. Actually a pretty clean one too, it felt like. There were only a couple blocked hits, no real hits. So Sentinel showed up. No deaths for this war, which is great. RBG died 1 to their 0, so they actually beat us BG to BG. And unfortunately, we lost 6-4. It was actually 6-3 when we cleared 100%. So our hopes of winning were pretty low to start with, and that started last night. So we got up to 5 or 6 deaths last night. Can't be doing that when you're playing another top 3 alliance. We've got to be cleaner than that. This probably crushed our hopes of top 3 finish. It just depends on who we match and who the other top 3s match and whether they lose or we win, or if we match one of them again, if we beat them. But mixed emotions war. Excited about the rank up and the boss solo. Sad that it amounted to a loss. But anyways, thanks for stopping by. Keep your eyes out for the last 2 wars.